right, all right, all right. Hope everybody is well today, well today, well today. How you doing, Doc?
Hey, how you feeling? How are you feeling?
Man, I feel absolutely amazing, Doc. How about yourself?
Hey, I feel great, babe. I feel great. Hey, we got a storm coming and hitting down along the Florida coast.
Ain't
Man,
nothing but a little bit of rain. Ain't nothing but a
yeah,
little bit of
yeah.
rain.
This is supposed to be a category 4, so hopefully everybody be okay down there because it's gonna be it can be kind of tight category 4, but it'll be coming up through Georgia, North Carolina, and all of that. When it come up through here this way, it'll be more tropical storm. But our friends down in Florida, pray that they stay safe down there and that everybody be okay. But how was your day, babe?
Man, day been beautiful, beautiful. Rainy day, but
Yeah,
got a lot accomplished
yeah,
today. We got a lot accomplished today,
that's
even
all.
throughout even with the rain.
Yeah,
Ain't got a nap in.
they ain't got you a nap.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How about your day?
Same, beautiful thing. It's getting things done. Whenever I have a day that I get up and I have some goals and I'm able to achieve them, and then I always feel good about it. So, yeah. Great day, great day. Well, hey, we got a
Okay.
great topic to talk about tonight. I'm excited about that. To
Yes, sir.
yeah,
Yes, sir.
yeah,
I
what it
think
takes
I
to be
think a
your
lot of
own
people are gonna
boss.
get a lot out of tonight's topic.
Yeah, what it takes to be your own boss. I know you can talk about that. You've been your own boss for a long time, so I know you're able to dive into that and give our listeners some nuggets on what it takes to be a successful boss. Anybody can say I'm a boss, but are you successful at it? So
Yeah,
uh,
that's true. That's true.
yeah,
Hey, Doc, you've been a boss longer than me, so I know you have some insight to give as well.
yeah, I'm a boss.
Yes,
Yeah, hey,
sir.
yeah, but it's like it's fascinating because like as working as a business consultant, I used to have people come to me and they be ready to start their own business. But one of the things in the questionnaire that I would ask them, why do you want to start a business? And um, more times than not, one of the answers that I would get was to be so that I can be my own boss, or
Mm,
I can work for myself, be my own boss. Um, that would be more than likely that would be the answer that I get, and it'll be why I say somewhat fascinating because I used to think that same way when when I first wanted to get into business, which was from the time I became an adult, even before I became an adult. I used to think the same way. I want to be my own boss. I want to be able to call the own shots, work for myself, and that type of thing. So, but what about you?
hey, Doc, I just never liked to work for nobody
Hey, well, yeah,
in a capacity where they was able to get rid of me whenever they chose to get rid of me.
yeah,
Talk to
that's
me
true.
any type of way they wanted to talk, depending on how they felt in that particular moment or that
Right,
particular hour or day, or even
right,
week or months.
right.
Never was afraid of working.
Nah,
No, we gonna work. But I never wanted to be put myself in a position where I put my financial being in someone else's hands.
yeah, yeah. The security side of it.
Yeah,
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 I think that leads a lot of people to want to invest in themselves and be in business for themselves, or be their own boss per se. Is
yes,
to
sir.
But
Yes,
one
sir.
thing I learned though was, and I learned this early on, was that being a boss and running a business is two different things. I
Mm,
thought it was the same thing. I said I want to be my own boss in order to run my own business, things like that. But what I realized early on is that the first thing you got to become a boss of is yourself.
yes,
Before
sir.
you become a boss of anybody else or anything else, you need to first become a boss of yourself. And the two areas that I felt that was critical for one to become a boss over before they would see any other measures of success in other areas of their life is they need to become a boss over their health, and they need to become a boss over their thoughts. I mean, if you can't become a boss over your health, which is the most important thing you got, then it's going to be hard for you to be successful in anything else, because you're going to end up spending too much time trying to take care of your health, because you're going to become unhealthy if you don't take care of your health. And then the thoughts that you have, you got to be able to control what you listen to and who you listen to and why you listening to them or it. You have to be able to control what goes into that mind. And if it doesn't align with what you're trying to accomplish, then you got to kind of like try to filter it away from you. So those are the two areas that I felt that I learned later, that if you become a boss over those two areas in your own life, then it kind of like open up the path for to have a lot of successes in other areas of your life. Become a boss of your health and become a boss of what goes into your mind. Become a boss of those thoughts, what goes into your mind, who speaks into your mind or what speaks into your mind.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
And, that's one of the first things on my side. That's one of the first things I learned, Doc. You got to be healthy and, protect your ear gates.
I did it.
Gates.
I did it because I would work 18, 19, 20 hours a day.
Wow.
Knowing I wasn't healthy and wasn't eating properly while I was doing it, because I was so focused on running the business, building the business, that I was putting my health behind the business without even realizing I was doing it, because I was young and I had energy. So I felt I could work 20 hours a day.
Hey, Doc, could you imagine working 20 hours a day for someone else?
Yes, I did it in the military.
Yeah, I thought about that too. I'm saying, okay, a lot of people love what they do. They're not necessarily bosses in their own business, but they are bosses of their own lives, right?
Yes.
And because they are passionate at what they're doing, they may work for someone else, but they work crazy amounts of hours because they love what they do. What they do is they don't look at it as a job or even as a career. They look at it as a passion. Yes. So they continue and they will work, and totally forget about their health, neglect their health, neglect the things that they're putting in their body, grabbing a bag of chips here, some cookies here, some fast food, quick, something quick so they can get back to work. Doc, I was the same way.
Right.
I was the same.
And I didn't understand that in the beginning. I hadn't became, because see, a boss takes care of the most critical thing first. And that's the boss. Because without the boss, there ain't nothing else. So a boss realizes that the first thing, I got to take care of myself. I have to make sure I'm healthy so that I can be healthy for the company. But if you don't realize that, you think it's more important for you to work a lot of hours and get a lot of stuff done because you think that's more healthy for the company, but it's less healthy for the company because it's less healthy for you, the boss, right?
The boss,
so yes, boss first got to learn how to become a boss over their own life.
Yes.
And the first part of life is becoming a boss over your health. Because and image is everything, right?
Yes.
If you are a serious boss and you go and people perceive that you look unhealthy, then they get a certain impression of you that speaks to your business and everything else, because the image that you present to them is one that's maybe unhealthy. So unhealthy seems undisciplined. Those two seem to go together. So anybody who's looking to be a boss, and all of us are bosses because we're bosses of our own lives, right? Once you become an adult, you become a boss over your life. And it doesn't mean running a business. And that's, I don't want anybody to think that when we're talking about boss, we're talking about an executive in a company. You're talking more about a mindset, the mindset of being a boss, taking charge and driving things forward and making things happen. It first starts with our health, because if we can't discipline ourselves to control and govern the most important thing that we have, which is our health, then that sort of translates to everything else we do in life. So that's why I say health, as being a boss, it's got to start with being a boss over your own life, which starts with your health, because without that, you don't have a life to be a boss over. And then controlling your knowledge base. How are you educating yourself? How are you preparing yourself for the life that you're the boss over, so that you can be the best boss over your life? How are you preparing yourself, educating yourself? And that goes on all the way up until the day we transition out of here, because you never stop being a boss. You're a boss all your life.
born with responsibilities. You know, I look at it from the standpoint, and it's amazing, Doc, to me that, you know, even with our class from Tuesday night with Mrs. Bay, where she spoke about things that we put into our bodies, things that we eat and consume need to be clean, because that equates to the way we think. Right. And most people, and I start to do like research, right? They say most people that get in trouble, they eat a mass amount of sugar. People that's incarcerated eat more than average than those that's not incarcerated. Those that get in trouble, that may not be incarcerated, but those that get in trouble and those that may be lost and confused, being free to do and move around as they please, they eat a little bit less than those that's incarcerated. Those that's successful eat a small amount of sugar. And I said, and it blew my mind, because, you know, we have people that don't want to get out of bed in the morning. Now, it could be because they hate what they do. And for those people, I say, do something you love. Find that purpose, that passion, and find a job that equates to that. Find something else.
If it's nothing but loving getting up, doing something so you don't have to do it no more.
Yeah,
exactly. I'm getting up doing this so I don't have to do this no more. Yeah. I understand that, though.
Yeah. And then those that love what they do, but don't have the energy to do it.
Yeah.
They need a boost. They need the sugar to get the energy. They need the caffeine. I heard so many people, I haven't got my coffee yet. What you need coffee for? You're supposed to be up and at it, right? I think sometimes us as human beings, we get used to things, and then we turn those things into crutches in which we feel we need, and we really don't need those things. Even if we look back to being a child, you know, we got up and I look at my son King and Empress, they get up, they like this. As soon as they wake up, they gone. As soon as those feet hit the ground, they moving. And I'm like, man, where's all this energy coming from? And it's always a constant reminder, hey man, love life. Children wake up every morning ready for the experience. What happened with that with us? And I think that equates to us
becoming a boss.
Yeah, being a boss.
You take on responsibility. Kids don't have none. So they're happy-go-lucky. So, but when you become a boss, you take on responsibilities. And one of the responsibilities as you being a boss is being responsible for them, right? And they know they got a good boss, so they fine. But I understand what you're saying. It's that, like, sometimes, like, when I look at what it is really to be a boss, and again, not equating it to running a company, but taking control over your life, being a boss there, and every day we trying to work toward we have more control over our lives, more freedom over our lives, being more of a boss over our lives. But it takes time, because each day we peeling away a little bit more of control that we didn't have, and now we have a little bit more control. And that's really what being a boss is. It's taking more and more control of one's life. And, you know, I asked someone, what does it take for you to be a boss over your life? You know, what all does it require for you to be a good boss over your own life? Are you a good boss, you know, to your own self? Do you take good care of yourself? Because how you treat yourself is almost it's almost a direct reflection of how you would run a company.
Mm. Do you love yourself? Do you love yourself enough?
Yeah.
How much love?
Because if you take care of yourself, because it's hard for you to be a boss for individuals if you can't be a boss for yourself. And again, everybody is not called or even have a desire to run a company. But everybody desires to have control and discipline over their own lives, at least. They would want that, right?
Absolutely.
And then that comes with work. That comes with work. Because it's hard to control something that, it takes some discipline.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Man, Doc, I look at it the same exact way. And ask those questions that you asked. What does it take? What does it take? What type of mindset does it take? Just starting off with your life.
Yeah.
Your own personal life. Discipline, consistency, and patience, right? Those three keys that we always speak about falls into every aspect. What are your rules? The rules that you go over, Doc. What rules do you create for your life? We know that, you have rules in this society you have to follow. We know you have rules at your job you have to follow everywhere you go, where you shop, where you may participate in. There are always rules, but have you made rules for your own life?
Right.
Have you taken the time out to look at the rules you made, and are those rules in alignment with universal rules and laws to govern your life, to help you move forth in your passion?
Because that's what a boss do. A boss make policies and procedures for a company. A boss make the policies and procedures. For your own life as a boss, you have your own policies and procedures. But it's really, like you say, the rules that you live by, that allows you to get the most out of your life that you can get out of your life. Like a boss over a company. A boss put in place policies and procedures so that they can get the most out of the company that they possibly can. Where a person put rules in place for their life so that they can get the most out of their life that they possibly can. But you both, you still being a boss. It's just what you're being a boss over. And it's much more important to be a boss over your own life than it is to be a boss over a company. It's to first, be a boss over your own life. Take control over your own life. Take control over your own life. Starting with your health. Number one. That's the most important thing any of us gonna ever have is our health. And if we can't control that, then it's like we're gonna have some challenges. We're gonna have some challenges along the way, being unhealthy. So, but
and health is wealth. You want to be healthy. You want to be healthy. You want to be able to move around. You want to be able to. If you do catch a bug, you don't want that bug to take you all the way out and lay you down for a week.
No,
you still be able to move around a little bit with the bug, right? Your regular 8 hours of sleep will be able to take that bug out of your body, right? Want to be able to, get up and go to the gym at least 3 times a week. And if you don't have a gym membership, you want to go out for a walk outside in your neighborhood.
Yeah, do something.
Do something.
And that's preparing you. And really, if I'd have known that early on when I first got into business, that the first thing I needed to focus on was my health and not how many hours I could launch into the business, I would have had probably a lot more success, because I burnt myself out a lot of times, or sometimes I made decisions that I normally wouldn't have made if I'd have rested properly and been more sharper. So I would say to anybody, like when you thinking about, hey, I'm getting ready to transition and starting my own business. The first thing I would say is make sure that you have allocated your time properly so that you can make your health the number one priority, because your health to the company is the number one priority. Because without you, there is no company. So you have to put a lot of emphasis on making sure that you are available, your availability to the company. Because when you out sick and things like that, or or you're not at your best, you're not making those critical decisions that need to be made. So yeah, you really need to just focus on making sure that you're ready mentally and physically, because it's a challenge running a company, because you have to put in a lot of mental work as well as some physical work, but a lot of mental work. So I would say to anybody, make sure that you are ready physically to take on what the challenge or what it takes to run a business, and then go into your business with a healthy mindset and a healthy body, or as healthy as you can possibly be in both of those areas. Healthy mind and a healthy body will make for a wealthy company.
Yep. And I know this is what I do know, and I want to give everybody some advice with what Doc just shared with you all. He shared that with me because I work because I love what I do, and I go work out because I love staying healthy and in shape. Yeah. But what I didn't do was take breaks. Yeah. What I didn't do was take breaks. I started taking breaks every 90 days, take some breaks, maybe a week, maybe even 2 weeks, right? And come back and I'm fresh. It's fresh. Yeah. Like I could see the charts a little bit better.
Yeah. It makes
right. Taking that break, was able to come up with a whole new strategy. Yeah. Everything that Doc is saying is absolutely true. And I know it may be hard for some of you all that run your own company, say, oh, I can't take off.
Hey, honestly, you can get more done in 6 concentrated hours than you can get done in 16 unconcentrated hours. So it's better to have a schedule of things that you're going to do and do those things and be done, but make sure you can do those things within 4 to 6 hours of a day. Because when you get excited about starting your business, first, especially when you first get started, it's like having your baby, your first child. You get real excited. And you wake up with the business on your mind. You go to sleep with the business on your mind. Throughout the day, the business on your mind. Even though you may be working on another job while you earning money to invest in your business or keep your business afloat, you're still dreaming about it. You're thinking about it, and so you're already putting a lot of energy into it. And before you know, you just consumed by it, and you just going. But eventually, you'll burn out or you'll start making bad decisions. And it's like, if man was meant to work 24 hours a day and never stop, then God wouldn't even make a night and make you go to sleep. Your body will force you to go to sleep because the body knows it has to go to sleep. So a good executive put in 4 to 6 concentrated hours, maybe 2-3 times a week, and it'll take that business much further than a person putting probably 20 hours a day of unconcentrated, because they're all over the place. But when you focus and you purpose and you're clear, you get things done. So I would say to anybody, when you first start in your business, the first 2 things take care of your health. Number 2, budget your time. Budget your time. Make sure you keep enough time for your social life, for your physical life, so you can take care of yourself, of course, your spiritual life, and then time for the business. Never put the business over you, because as an executive, you have to be over the business. So the business don't run you. You run the business. Remember that. Don't have the business running you all over the place, because then the business is running you. You run the business, right?
Yeah.
Because baby, we workaholic. You know we are.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And you know why you do that, Doc? You could be the example of leadership for those that's within your business, those that you're working with. Yeah. You could be the core, right? And everything can duplicate from what you do and the effort you put in. You could be that example for everyone else to propel that business, being a catalyst of that business overall.
Yeah. And it has nothing to do with good decisions. Is not based around how much time you put in the business. If you're making good decisions, it doesn't take a whole lot of time. But society is so geared, some executives or business owners, and it's so conditioned them, especially those coming out of the employee market. Because the employee market is so built around how much can you give me in a day? How much work can you give me in a day? Because it's built around production, productivity. So they're trying to haul as much out of you as they can. Whereas when you are a business owner, you're doing just the opposite. You're not trying to burn yourself. You're not trying to drain yourself every day of everything you can. You're not trying to do that. You're just trying to make critical decisions. And in order to do that, you got to have a fresh mind, a clear mind, so that you can think, critical, because that your business is going to require you to be a critical thinker, to make the best decisions. But if you are overworked, then a lot of times your mind is not going to be sharp. It's not going to be fresh. That's why you have to, as a boss, take care of yourself first, so that you can make those critical decisions, so you can be there when the business needs you. You can be there. And that's one of the biggest mistakes I see new business owners make, is that they try to build it overnight. They overwork themselves, and they don't manage growth properly, and then they fail. Their health fail, the business fail, and it's all because they drove themselves to the point of breaking themselves.
And they could, and all that time they was passionate about what they doing, but that passion worked against them.
Most business owners don't fail because they're lazy. They don't. Very few business owners fail because they're lazy. Unbeknownst to what people may think, very few fail because they're lazy. Most fail because they don't have access to capital, the money they need to continue to fund their business, or they don't have access to the human resources that they need, so they don't have to try to do everything themselves. And in order to get the human resources, they need money. And like Christina said, the system is the key, and it is. It really is. It really is.
Yeah.
But that's where I see most bosses fail, new bosses, is that they get burnt out because they put too much of themselves into the business, because they don't take a break. And a lot of times they don't have access to capital, so that they can bring in the resources they need to help them. Not because they're lazy. When you see them being lazy, and people call them lazy, it's because they tired.
They burnt out. They lazy because they tired. They burnt out. It's time for a change.
You don't know how many hours. They don't know how many hours you put into the business just mentally. Waking up thinking about it, going to bed thinking about it, all throughout the day thinking about it. That takes a toll on you over time, and it can burn you out. So to any new bosses out there, or those bosses to be, if anything I can say to you tonight before you get started, is to make sure you get yourself, trained, prepare yourself, because you're going into battle. When you start a business, you're going into battle. Because now you are fighting with every other business to get a portion of a consumer dollar, right? And they don't want you to have none of it, because if you get some of it, it's less than they have. So you at a war now, war over consumer dollars. And you got to be physically fit and mentally sharp to make the best decisions, so that you can lead your business into financial freedom as quickly as possible. And that's going to require a sharp mind. No matter how many hours you can work, if you don't think right, you're going to make bad decisions. Work smarter, not harder. Right, babe?
Yeah, absolutely. You said something that was powerful and made me think back, or think to, even if a person isn't a business owner, but just if they have critical jobs, their hours of operation for their employee put in place for them is for them to get rest, because their jobs that critical. Like firemen work 24 on, 48 off.
Yeah.
24 on, 48 off, right? Because they work in a very critical position where lives are in their hand. Doctors. A lot of people don't know doctors' hours. Yes, they put in a lot of hours of work, but if they work in that emergency room, they work 24 to 12. I don't even think 24. I think they work like 12 to 16. Then they have like 2 days off. Then they come back, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And if employers know they need to give time to their employees so they can get their proper rest,
Yeah.
then you know them themselves are getting their proper rest. So why shouldn't you get your proper rest? Why shouldn't you do the things you need to do for yourself, especially if your employer is giving you that time to do so? Or if you're a boss, that can be the example for you to copy and paste in your life and your business.
Yeah, number one. And I didn't know that in the beginning. Honestly, if someone would have told me that and sit me down and say, hey, young guy, young man, what you need to do is step one step. If someone would have sit me down and help me, because I thought it was all about how much I could put in of myself. And it was nothing for me to work 16, 18 hours inside of the business. And I enjoyed doing it because I love what I was doing. I love why I was doing it. And yeah, so I would just put in the work. But I was eating potato chips and drinking Pepsis and eating roller dogs out of the roller thing.
That's some quick hot dogs. They're not even boiled. They just slightly grilled. Hey, Doc. We don't eat that stuff no more. But Chicago,
what I'm saying,
Chicago got the best hot dogs and Polish sausages in the world.
No, it was like eating while you're working. That can't even take time. It's like it's so critical. You can't even take an hour away, an hour and a half away, have a relaxing lunch, because hey, it's so critical. You eating in on the computer at the same time.
Hey, that's military, Doc.
And you think you're doing the business a favor. You really do. But I didn't have nobody to tell me, look, you need to take care of your health first, because your health is the number one thing that you can offer the business. Now, how many hours you can be there, but how many healthy hours can you be there? And see, nobody told me that in the beginning, so I just went all running. That's trying to do everything, but I learned, that that's not good for a boss. Not if you can be a boss. That's not good to overextend yourself and burn yourself out. That's not the right way to.
Hey, that's military. That's military, Doc. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go, Doc. There you go. Eat now, taste later.
Yeah. The military. Eat now, taste it later.
Eat it now, taste it later. How many? Let me ask the viewers. How many of you all, even I don't care if you own your business or you working on a job, actually was eating while you was working or was rushing to eat to get back to work?
Yeah.
Because you love what you do, or because you had to get the job done, or you felt like you needed the job done right then and there, because it was that you thought in your mind it was that critical to get it done right then and there.
Put work over your health. That to put work over your health. And I know I've been guilty of putting work over my health.
Yeah.
I know I have. Yeah. And thinking that was the best thing to do for the business, but never put work over your health. That's the first thing a boss has to learn, is how to be a boss over their own life before they can be the boss over their business, because their life is the first business that they're ever going to have, is the business of running their own life. So being a boss over it first, and that first thing is being a boss over your health. Being in control of your own health. Can you control your health? Can you get the most out of your health like you can get the most out of a company? Can you get the most potential out of a company? Can you get the most potential out of your health? So that's the first thing for a boss. Be a boss over your life by being a boss over your health. And then your mind.
Yeah.
There's certain things as a boss you got to listen to. You want to know about, to keep yourself up to speed, Yeah.
Yeah. And then, when you talk about then, what about your family? You want to make sure that your family is in line just like you are in line. and you doing what you do, you could be the example for your family. That could be in your family rule book.
Yeah, yeah,
Your
yeah.
you know, you have to have the family, what you call the trust.
Yeah, yeah. Help the family
Family
too.
rule.
Yeah, help the
Yeah.
family. Because like we were talking, when we look at most images and you see movies and stuff, you look at the images of executives, top executives, CEOs, and things. They always show them working out, show them in being strong, be it feminine or masculine, either way. But it showed them being in control of their health, making shakes in the morning, drinking things like that. So they show them in more of a healthy type of lifestyle or mindset, taking relaxations, taking breaks by the pool, different things like that, sitting in the steam room. So they show them in a lot of healthy type settings, because executives, those that are very successful, have become masters of their health in many ways. You don't see very unhealthy CEOs and COOs, CF. You don't see them being unhealthy.
Yeah, never, Doc. You know what's crazy, Doc? Remember,
unhealthy.
and this right here, this finna blow your mind, Doc, because I know you started watching the series, right? Back in the day, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Uncle Phil was kind of overweight, and when he started getting sick, he started to realize, and his family said, "You got to get your health right." And he realized on one episode, like, man, I need to get my health right. But the new Bel-Air Uncle Phil is in shape, ain't he?
Yeah.
Uncle shit, that don't even look like the same Uncle Phil. I'm like, hold up, that ain't Uncle Phil. Uncle Phil's supposed to be a heavy set guy. He's supposed to have some health problems, right?
Exactly.
So, you know, as time progresses, these examples are put right in our face.
Yeah.
But I don't think, even on TV shows, they're putting right in our face what to do, what not to do.
Yeah.
But they're not given to us blatantly, but they're encoded within these areas so that we can actually see the examples of what we need to do to have a successful, not just a successful business or a successful career, but a successful life.
Right.
You know, it helps us.
We had to take examples from that. I mean, so like, again, those out there in the audience that are already running their business or looking to start their business, become their own boss for whatever reason, you know, that's knowing that health is very critical. That's a critical function in being a successful boss. It's being successful, being healthy. So that's very critical. I would say to everyone, you know, make sure you focus on your health. Focus on your health.
Yeah. Then of course, you know, when we talk about having a vision for your business, you know, being able to have that the foresight for your business, the hustle, the hard work, the resilience, the adaptability, the confidence, the self-belief, the strength, the strategic risk taking, the leadership, empowerment, the integrity, being authentic, being politically correct, and then in certain cases not being politically correct. That was one of our first ones. Remember, Doc? Right? Being focused on building your empire and not just doing it for money, doing it for the long term, doing it not just for yourself, but doing it for others. I think all of those come together. Right. But it starts with the mind of with knowing that what you need to do for your personal life.
Right.
And your personal well-being. And that will flow over out of the cup onto others.
It will. Being a good boss. Being a good boss.
Hey. Would you say this, Doc? Being a good boss is being a good steward?
Yeah, 100%. Because you start with being a good boss of your own life. You know, being a good steward of your own life. But then you like in your business, you want to be definitely a good steward, especially over the money, over people that work with you. You want to be good stewards and making sure you set a good example for them, making sure you offer them the best advice you can and the best guidance and leadership that you can. And that's all part of being a good steward. It's making sure that you invest the most time that you can into the assets that you have. And most of the best asset you can have is the people that surround you, know. Well, hey, I think we up against the Dallas Cowboys. They playing tonight against the New York Giants.
Oh, Dallas Cowboys against the New York Giants. Who you going
Yeah,
for? Who you
yeah.
going for, Doc? Who you
Somebody
going
got to be the boss in that game tonight.
for? who you think gonna win?
I don't know. They both 1-2. So when you get
Uh-oh.
two 1-2 teams, that's like got two teams where they back against the wall. They don't want to go 1-3. So it's going to be a dog fight. Plus, in the same division, so it's going to be a dog fight. So I don't know. I'm gonna
Hey
watch
Doc,
it.
being now this is a good question when you say that. Me thinking about football. Who is the boss in football? Because the boss always have to take the blame.
Yeah, that's true.
The boss always have to take the blame.
And they
So
use the owner, but the owner ain't gonna fire themselves.
yeah. When was the last time the owner actually do an interview? The owner only do interviews at the beginning when they're recruiting for the draft, and at the end of the season if they win the Super Bowl. Them the only time, 2 times, or if they in between time, if it's some type of craziness that happens, some type of scandal. But them the only three. It's only 3 times you'll hear from the owner of,
You don't hear from them no more.
the NFL team.
No, you don't hear from them. No,
Yeah.
you don't hear
So
from
who's the boss? Who's the real boss? Who
There
takes
you go.
responsibility? Do
Yeah.
the real boss take responsibility, or do the fall guys take responsibility?
No, that's a good point. That's a good point. That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah, but I know I like being a boss.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you have to pay the cost to
Yes,
be
sir.
a boss. It don't come free, buddy. Because everybody don't have the discipline to get up every day and go do what they need to do. They don't have the discipline to do it. Now, when you go to work for somebody else, they telling you what to do. You know you got a paycheck secured. But when you're doing it for yourself and you got to create that own income for yourself to take care of yourself, you have a different level of motivation.
Mm-hmm.
When you're on somebody else's job, you know you're going to get your paycheck. Regardless, you're going to get your paycheck. But when you got to create your paycheck, you got to create your income. It's a little bit different. So that's why I say you got to pay the price. It's a cost to being a boss because you got to create your paycheck and then create paycheck for others. That make sure they get a paycheck too. And so that comes with a little bit of weight on your shoulders because you got to make sure that everybody else eat too.
You know, I think that's one of the things of being a boss as well, Doc, because I found myself some days waking up and going to work, and sometimes it don't work out like I thought it was going to work out. And then, you get those challenges, those mental challenges, like, man, what I'm going to do? I got to create the check. So if I got to create the check, I have to create the idea of value that will be provided to those that want that value.
Right.
And that challenge alone I think is more challenging on your mental than having to wake up and drive through traffic to get to a job. All you have to do is make it to that job on time, to stay there, to do your job, to make sure that you don't get fired, to get your check. Because you know that check coming when you're on that job. But when you're on that business,
it's secured pretty much.
Yeah, when you're on that business, you have to make sure that you first of all get your rest, take care of yourself, work out, but you also don't neglect the creation of what is provided as product and service that's provided, and then strategize to release that to those that may want it, to the public. Right. So yes, business is
business.
Business
you got to create that income. You got to create that revenue because you got to live, and then you got others that depending on you to create that paycheck. So that's a different level of motivation when you know that I have to do what I have to do in the most critical of times to ensure that I stay successful. I can't take a failure. When you're running a business, a corporation, you can't have a failure. Because when you have a failure, a lot of other people down the line get affected. So
that's a lot of pressure.
You can't.
That's a lot of pressure, Doc.
Yeah, you can't afford to have a fumble. So that's why you got to be rested. You got to have a sharp mind because you're making decisions for not only you, but for a lot of people beneath you as a boss. Because in order for you to be a boss, you got to have something to be a boss over.
Yeah.
You can't say you're a boss and you ain't no boss over nothing. It starts with your own life. You got to start there to be a boss. But no, it comes with a different level of pressure. But most of us are built to handle that pressure, though. I don't think it's the pressure that causes people to fall off. I think people grow faint when the revenue don't come in fast enough.
They lose the belief.
Yeah, because it's not growing fast enough. And I always said you can't plant a seed tonight and expect to be eating apples off of it tomorrow. So you got to go into it with the right mindset. That's why you got to feed your mind properly. Because you hear all the thoughts of all the people that told you you're going to fail. You can't do it. It's too hard. And then all those thoughts have started coming back. That's why what you feed into your mind and who feed into your mind is very critical, because you're going to need to draw from those positive thoughts and those positive words where people say you can do it, or where you heard yourself say I can do it, on those critical days when you just want to throw in the towel. Because you're going to have some of them days, because every day ain't going to be a day that you may wake up in a day of joy and jubilee, but you can face some challenges throughout the day as a boss that you have to make some critical decisions, and you just have to make a decision. And that decision has to be based around good, solid information. And the best way to get good information is to make sure you have a clear mind so that you can hear it the way it needs to be heard. Because if you're hearing all types of different thoughts, you make bad decisions. And I see that happen with a lot of young CEOs. They make bad decisions because they don't patiently wait for all the information. They rush and make a decision. But it's critical to even rest when it comes to making a decision, so that all the information that's needed can surface. Don't rush it. Don't rush making a decision, because that decision could affect that business for a while before you can get that business turned back around the right way. So, but yeah, being a boss is I love it, because I've been a boss all my life. I mean, I never liked the idea of punching the time clock.
Yeah, Doc. I think this can give the viewers and the listeners a better understanding, because a lot of people do go to work for different corporations.
Yeah.
And they may not care or even respect the owner of that business. But now with this conversation, I think those individuals can have a greater outlook of some of the challenges, just that responsibility of the CEO of that company or the owner of that company. One bad decision can not just affect that business, but affect your position you have at that company.
Yeah.
One bad decision he may say, you know what, I'm going to hold off my vacation for 3 more days. And them 3 more days, you get tired, make a decision before he leave, and that decision costs you your job.
Yeah.
Right. So we are all blessed in so many ways. And then as a business owner and as an employee, we have to look at, it's not one is more strenuous than the other.
Right.
But depending upon the situations, depending upon the person,
right,
they both are equally yoked, because just like the owner's bad decision, you as the employee, you can affect the ownership as well, with a bad decision you made too. So it's hand in hand. It goes hand in hand. I made a post, Doc. I made a post on my Facebook page, and I said, I explained the pros and cons of the taxation of the wealthy. What are the pros and cons? And they're equally yoked. It's equally yoked, right? If you do tax the wealthy, then they are affected in certain ways where they have to make the decisions that affect employees and the whole economy. If you don't tax them, well, we keep on doing what we do.
Right.
Which one do you want?
The one that's fair. The one that's fair.
Yeah.
We always want the one that's fair, the one that's right. But what's fair in one person's eyes and not fair in another person's eyes?
Yeah.
And what's right it only is fair when it affects you in a positive way. If it don't affect you in a positive way, then it's not fair to you. And so that's why it's best to be in a position where you're your own boss, where other people's decisions don't make a bearing on whether or not your life is great or not.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
That's the importance of being your own boss. Because it shouldn't matter if that boss make a decision whether or not it's going to affect your life or not. But if you're under that boss's rule and that boss's control, then yeah, it could affect your life. But you know, it's hard to really say what is the best way. I always say what's fair.
Yeah, what's fair?
What's fair?
Yeah, I think that's a better way, because
then let's do that.
That's the equal yoke, because fair is fair.
Yeah, let's do what's fair.
What best could be for an individual, what's fair is for all.
Yeah, let's do what's fair. Let's do what's fair, and whatever is fair, that's fair. You know, and then that's the best way for a boss to lead a company. It's just do what's fair. Do what's fair. Do what's fair. And if a person don't accept what's fair, then that's so be it. That's their problem. That ain't your problem.
Yeah.
If what you're doing is not fair, then it's not their problem, it's your problem, because you have the power to make it fair. They don't. He who has the power to make it fair should make it fair. And if they don't accept the fairness, then that's their problem. It's not your problem.
Yeah, and they should be in that position if they're not willing to make it fair.
No, they said they usually don't stay in that position long because they lose the support of the people. So they usually don't stay in that position long anyhow. They lose the support of the people. So by default, you lose that position. You lose it because you didn't do the right thing when you had it. You know, you didn't do what was fair. So hey.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, you got to take care of the people, because the most important thing that a boss needs to know is that the people is more important than the boss.
Yeah.
Because bosses think they are more important than the people. That because they haven't learned how to be a boss. A boss lifts up the people and make the people greater than themselves. Good bosses make the people greater than themselves. That's why Jesus said about his disciples, greater works than these shall you do. In other words, you're going to be greater than me, because everything I know, you're going to know that plus what you already know. So you're going to be better than me. And that's what a good boss does. A good boss helps make the people around them better than them. And if most bosses understood that, they would create a level of loyalty like they've never seen before. If they focus on the betterment of the people. When you make the people better, the business automatically gets better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Make things better.
I think greed come into place when you have bosses like that don't think arrogance, greed, fear of loss, those negative emotions and energies is captured by that boss, and they end up putting themselves in bad conditions, and their business in bad conditions, because they don't realize or even want to acknowledge the fact that without people, you don't have a business.
You don't have a business.
Without people, you don't have a business. You have to have customers.
Right.
And customers are your business because they're supporting you, because you providing something that they need or want. And they trust and believe in that business and that product and that service. So they're spending their hard-earned money on that product and service. But you know how many other companies they could buy for it, but they chose you.
Exactly.
But they chose you. There's so many different companies a person. They can buy from Alibaba in bulk if they wanted to for a cheaper price. But they chose you.
And that's what makes it special. They saw something about that company that they wanted to work with. And that goes back to the question I always would ask people when they first, why do you want to be a boss? Why do you want to be a business? And a lot of them would say, so that I can be my own boss. I can work for myself. But the answer that I looked for the most, and how I would try to shift their thinking before I finished mentoring them, was to never go into business just so that you can be in charge or be in boss. Go in business so that you can provide a good old service that can make other people's lives better. And if you go in business for that reason, you'll succeed. But if you go into business just so you can be in charge, chances are you're going to fail because your focus is going to be wrong. But if your focus is on making something that can make other people's lives better, then those people are going to become loyal to you and your business is going to excel because they are benefiting from what you're doing because you're doing it for them. And if you do it for them, you'll win. You'll win. You'll win. Every time you'll win.
Hey, Doc, we got 4 minutes. You got any closing remarks?
No, I'm going to let you have them tonight, babe. Give it to us. Give it to us. We want it, babe. Let's have it. Go, babe, go.
Hey, Doc, the time flew by like it always do. Like it always do. I had so many other questions, like I always do, right? Because I'm a sponge, just like all of our listeners. I myself.
Yeah, but we got some big announcements as far as where we're not going to say any names, but we're going to be having guests coming on the show.
Yes.
Starting to come onto the show. So that's going to be big. We're going to be, well, for me, I never really interviewed celebrities and stuff like that before. So, we celebrities, right? Dr. Davis.
Yeah. I just say it's a conversation. I don't even think it's an interview. It's just more of a conversation, insight, opinions, insight, all about positivity, all about our 4 pillars.
It's about growth. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to sitting on this side where I'm actually asking questions and interviewing someone and, versus me sitting on this side and just talking about our experiences, but actually bringing somebody else's voice onto the platform. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Yeah.
Same here, Doc.
That's exciting. Yeah.
I'm excited because everything we talk about is based on our 4 pillars of Hidden Wealth Society. Just like tonight, the topic was being your own boss, right?
Yeah.
And when we look at it, we started from the mind, then we went into the health, then we went into the family. But the money always come last. Somehow, some way, the money always come last. Somehow, some way,
the money come last. Right?
Somehow, some way, the money always
come last, babe. Why did the money come last?
Hey, because it's a boatload of it coming, and you can't get a boatload of money fast. It takes some time to get the boatload of money.
That's true. That's true.
Hey, I enjoyed tonight. We won't be on next week, but we will be on the following week.
Yeah.
So every 2 weeks, we was live on Facebook, live on YouTube. Go ahead and follow our Instagram and go ahead and follow all of our social media sites.
Follow us now because we're gonna be big one day. Yeah. You can say I was with them from the beginning.
Yep, and we need those followers so we can go live on those other platforms to spread the word so other individuals can see and hear us, because we truly want to help the people in the aspects of their life in which we focus on, right? And it's really magical through communication.
Yeah, it is
that individuals, they may not be looking for this. The pillars in which we focus on may not be their main focus. They're looking to get better in, but somehow, some way, this information helps them get better in those other areas.
Yeah.
And that's what we're here to do, to help the people. So, Doc, you have anything closing, Doc?
Oh, hey, I enjoyed. I always appreciate the audience coming out and giving us their support. And we really appreciate you all. And again, we'll have some exciting guests starting to come onto the show. Appreciate you all always coming out and giving us that love, and we appreciate it. Hey, the Dallas is playing the New York Giants tonight. Bay, is a big game. It's a big game.
Sir.
Who you got, Bay?
The winner.
Hey, to our beautiful audience out there, you all have the best of the rest of your evening, afternoon, or morning. Depends on where you may be viewing from. And we'll see you all back in 2 weeks. And Bay, great show, my brother. Great show.
Yes, sir. Same here. Same
Thanks
here.
for putting that energy. Yes, sir. Yes,
and
sir.
as always, y'all know the saying, it's a small world, but it becomes even smaller when you think big. So put a smile on someone's face, starting with your own. And as always, peace, love, and freedom.